Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. I hope you guys all enjoy. We're actually here in the studio for the quick intro because we're actually sponsored by one of my favorite sponsors of all time. That's actually WESG. If you guys didn't know, I've been working with them up until this point in time where they're going to solidify, of course, their American, their Canadian teams. It's actually this weekend, the Canadian qualifiers, though, for WESG, and why it's very important. I'm going to link some stuff down below if you guys want to watch this because I'll be watching it because our boy Steel is representing Canada alongside Ghost Gaming. If you guys can see the list of teams who can be competing at WESG, these Canadian qualifiers this weekend, also sponsored by LG and their brand new monitors. So Steel gets to play on those brand new Ultra Gear monitors, which apparently are pretty crazy. But on top of that, though, it's Ghost Gaming against like the Poutine Warriors, and they're gonna be fighting for the very, very last Canadian spot, the only Canadian spot for, of course, the WESG Finals 2018. That's nearly a $1 million prize pool, guys. A crazy tournament, and huge thanks to LG alongside Cineplex and, of course, World Gaming for sponsoring this video. But now let's break it down, guys. The real serious stuff, all about OpTic India and their CSGO team, and just the whole story, because as of right now, actually this morning, Forsaken has actually come out and responded about the entire thing. And if you guys don't want to waste your time, don't want to waste the next 10 minutes or whatever, how long this video actually is, a little TLDR, if you guys don't want to watch the entire video, pretty much it was OpTic oversight, OpTic management, that being the team who was around this OpTic India team. It was not the way up people that you probably know at OpTic. It was not Hector, it was not Jay, it was not any of the people really at Infinite even. It was a dedicated management team for this OpTic India CSGO team. I'm going to link to a couple of videos and articles down below for all of you guys if you really care about all the details, or you can just take my word for it, either one you guys choose. So that was a quick deal, TLDR, pretty much oversight by management, which allowed this entire thing to happen. But most importantly as well, as of yesterday, guys, Forsaken did come out with AFK Gaming. That's actually a pretty good esports channel. I'll link it down below for all you guys. He came forward with a lot of statements and actually answers to a lot of questions as well. Alongside that, VP Esports did a great coverage of all of this and gave us more details as to the background of what exactly Forsaken came from. And actually the first of which information actually preluding to 2016 was when the first time this guy was actually caught both cheating as well as using cheats to actually boost accounts and selling those accounts all across India. In the first occurrence back in 2016, he was actually given a ban, of course, for cheating as well. He was given a 2-year sentence by the ESIC, that's the Esports Integrity Coalition. It was then shortened to 6 months, and that's on his public record back from 2016. So when you look at it, the whole process, of course, if you guys remember the OpTic India process when they had almost 2,000 applicants, of course, narrowed down to that 5-man roster plus a coach who eventually became a player for that very, very small roster. No matter what, it was done in a very short period of time. I believe a couple weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but this is a very rushed process. We've seen OpTic do this across many esports as of recently, especially inside CSGO when they have transitioned rosters from North America to Europe, as well as signed a Brazilian female team and this OpTic India team. It was all done very, very fast, very swiftly, with seemingly no background checks. When they did solidify that 5-man roster, Forsaken just so happened to be, of course, of 2,000 applicants, one of 5 to make the final roster. There was pretty much confirmed by Jay and Richard Lewis's video, the interview with him, pretty much no background checks of these players. That solidified 5 was the 5-man team no matter what. They were set in stone going forward, and there was no really even preliminary background checks, which obviously would have shown so many occurrences of cheating in his background. Also later on in 2016, he was found to be cheating on boosted accounts, so he was actually cheating to boost accounts and then selling those accounts to players out there. You guys come from the CSGO scene, you know that if you want a boosted ranked account, it can take a lot of time to get MG or to get Eagle, so whatever it might be. And so he was actually boosting accounts using cheats to do so and then selling those accounts out. Thanks to Renav, a friend out there who actually DM'd me, the original tweets were, I'll link down below for all of you guys. He translated all these tweets, which were actually in Hindi and partially in English, into English for all of you. So these are actually tweets with an angry customer who actually had bought an account, of course, from Forsaken. The account was then later on VAC banned because to boost the account, he had clearly cheated, and then of course later on the VAC ban finally triggered through Valve's anti-cheat. So that's what we have so far. Early 2016, he actually gets a 6-month ban. It was first a 2-year ban, notion down to 6 months from the ESIC. Later on, guys, he of course was actually caught boosting accounts and selling those boosted accounts via actually cheating. Alongside that, though, across all these other pro players out there who had suspicions, we of course have the accumulating clips out there ranging from 2016 to 2017, as well as even early in 2018. And then he is finally signed to OpTic Gaming and of course caught at CSGO 2 Asia Extremesland 2018 tournament. And the video that will now go down in infamy. And alongside that, he also came out with an interview today and answered some very important questions. The first of which was his apology, which I think I talked about this on the esports news channel, guys. I honestly do not know at this point what else you can actually ask for the guy. I don't want to anger anybody out there, but when it comes down to the overall apology, right? He apologized and said he pretty much jeopardized everyone else, all of his teammates' futures, which he really did. But on the flip side of that, it really does make you wonder. OpTic management have yet to actually put out a full encompassing statement. I'm sure they probably won't. At this point, there seems to be trying to just pile it up and put it behind them, which I don't think is going too well. I don't think we will ever get the full picture of whether management did know, which we can assume they probably had assumptions that he was a cheater. They just never questioned it to a full extent. But if the players did know and why they actually kicked the entire team, they've just pretty much come forward. Actually, I had a tweet about this, guys. OpTic J, he's the president Infinite, which obviously runs and operates OpTic Gaming currently. He said it's pretty tough for those players, obviously very unfortunate for those players. It's a decision they had to make though, and they are moving forward. So I don't think they're going to look backwards and actually give us a full statement as to why they did this, guys. Also in the interview though, he did come forward and said he was even, that being Forsaken, he was even cheating at the boot camps. There was no reason though, he didn't hit any suspicious clips. There was no reason for his teammates to actually suspect him, and he will stick to that story, guys. In this interview, he came out and said, Forsaken said that his teammates had no clue or had no idea he was cheating, which again, when it comes down to public perception, I don't know what you guys think, but it seems like in the majority of comments out there, people do think there is no way the players could not have known. And yet again, we have more contradicting evidence, because now we not only have the first statement, the very first statement that was released within hours of Forsaken being caught. It was OpTic's director via HLTV. He came out and said the entire team, the players, had no clue that Forsaken was cheating, which again is very hard to believe. Now we also have Forsaken doubling down on that statement. In his interview with AFK Gaming, he clearly said the players had no clue he was cheating whatsoever, even at boot camps. And so we have those two sides, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we have OpTic releasing the entire roster. If they had no clue, why do you give them the same punishment as you gave Forsaken? It makes me question things, and again, I don't think we're ever going to get a full statement from OpTic about this, but that is what we know up until now. Again, a quick TLDR for all of you guys. He was cheating in 2016, that being Forsaken. He was also selling cheated boosted accounts. He was using cheats to boost accounts. He was selling those all across India. We have proof of those two things right there. He then has very suspicious clips throughout 2016, 2017, and 2018. He made it very clear he did not tell anybody in the interview whatsoever how many competitions he had actually cheated at. We can assume probably more than one. It was actually, of course, right now it's currently at 2. There was ESL India Premiership as well as Extremesland 2018 where he was finally caught. We can assume there was probably many other tournaments where he had actually built up the confidence to actually go to a huge LAN event, a big LAN event for them at least, and actually cheat on LAN. We can assume, because in the interview he said he had confidence in anything else besides his aim, and so of course to make up for that lack of confidence in his aim, he decided to take the wrong path and actually cheat. We can assume he built that confidence though to cheat at the CSGO 2 Asia LAN event by cheating across several LAN events across India, which certainly didn't check for this kind of stuff. It's overall a I'm going to say this so many times in the future. I'm going to be doing one more video about this, guys, an entire wrap-up video. That'll be posted first on the Esports News channel. There is one closing thing, guys. Nickel, I think it's close to how you pronounce that, the operator over at CSGO 2 Asia, he clearly said on Facebook, though, posting to the CSGO India Facebook group, he said that no one has the full truth yet, and he'll post it as soon as he knows the full truth himself or gets more of the details himself and all the facts wrapped up. So that is one thing we're going to wait on for now, guys. Apparently the full truth is not currently out yet. We are not going to get a statement from OpTic. I'm pretty certain about that. If we do, of course, I'll talk about that. There is no way we are ever going to know the full story about this. And at the end of the day, I will repeat this in my next video about this, which will be the last video about this. We'll do an entire wrap-up of all the facts and details. The one thing I have to say is it just hurts to watch a team, and especially 4 solid players, come down to this and see the same punishment as a cheater, and their futures are now pretty much the same as his, I would say in the grave, when it comes to playing CSGO. Yes, they might be signed by some other small teams out there, but will they have the same future they possibly have with this OpTic roster? I highly doubt that. And also, one last thing that contradicts everything, guys, it was actually YB came out with VP Esports, guys, in a quote-unquote interview, and he actually said he gave OpTic Gaming Management an ultimatum. He clearly said in that interview as well, and again, I'll link the articles down below for all of you, he clearly said he had suspected these cheats as well with Forsaken, and he gave the management team an ultimatum. He said, either kick Forsaken or I will not play for you guys. Then they brushed it off the rug and said he had a faulty mouse. And they kept on playing. YB kept on playing with the team as well. But he did have suspicions, which leads me to think that the entire team had to have suspicions. So why does management come out and say they had no idea? Why does Forsaken come out and say they had no idea? None of this is making sense. I don't know if this is now OpTic now scripting some weird stories for these players. I don't know who is actually talking to these players. Why are these players not coming out with more interviews? We have literally no one besides Forsaken and a few words from YB actually coming out. No one is talking and no one knows why, and it angers me, but good work for Richard Lewis. He's actually doing very good work over there, guys. He talked to the President Infinite. That's pretty much the only inside sources actually come out, and he even didn't say much about this. It's going to continue to be a cluster frick, and yeah, I'm kind of sick of it. See you guys next time.